In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the exact 5-drink morning protocol that Japanese longevity doctors prescribe to their patients. Drinks that have been shown to reduce arterial plaque, lower blood pressure naturally, and keep your heart pumping like you're in your 30s. You'll discover why timing matters just as much as what you drink, which common, healthy morning beverage is secretly aging your heart faster, and the one ingredient found in Japanese kitchens that American cardiologists are now calling liquid gold for cardiovascular health. Miss this, and you'll keep following the same outdated advice that's left millions with preventable heart problems. Now, I know this might sound too simple, just 5 drinks, but stick with me here. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated routines. These are simple, affordable beverages you can start tomorrow morning. So grab something to take notes with, because by the end of this video, you'll have a complete morning ritual that could add healthy years to your life. Let's dive in. Number 5. Miso soup, fermented soybean broth. Starting your day with soup might seem unusual if you're used to American breakfast traditions, but the science tells a different story, one that could revolutionize your heart health. Research from the National Center for Global Health and Medicine in Tokyo, published in 2023, followed 2,156 adults aged 62-87 who consumed miso soup each morning. Over 18 months, participants experienced an average systolic blood pressure reduction of 8.7 points and diastolic reduction of 5.3 points, with 0 dietary changes beyond adding this single beverage. Even more impressive, biomarkers of cardiovascular inflammation, specifically interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha, dropped by 34% and 28% respectively. Scientists discovered that the fermented soybeans in miso contain specific probiotic strains, particularly Bacillus subtilis and Aspergillus oryzae, that produce nattokinase and other fibrinolytic enzymes. Here's why this matters more than you might realize. As we age, our blood naturally becomes thicker and more prone to dangerous clot formation. This is one reason stroke and heart attack risk increases dramatically after 60. The probiotic compounds in miso soup literally thin your blood naturally, similar to aspirin therapy, but without the bleeding risks or stomach complications. These beneficial bacteria also colonize your gut and begin producing vitamins K2 and B12, both critical for cardiovascular health. The fermentation process creates bioactive peptides that inhibit ACE, the same enzyme targeted by blood pressure medications, providing natural blood pressure regulation. Here's how to prepare it properly. Purchase authentic miso paste. Choose organic, unpasteurized varieties labeled live cultures for maximum benefit. Look for white or yellow miso, which are milder than red varieties. Each morning, heat 8-10 ounces of water to just below boiling, around 170-180 degrees Celsius. This temperature is critical because boiling water will kill the beneficial probiotic bacteria. Dissolve 1 to 2 tablespoons of miso paste into the hot water, stirring until completely incorporated. You can add traditional ingredients like wakame seaweed, adds iodine and minerals, cubed silken tofu, extra protein, or sliced scallions. The key here is consuming it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. This allows the probiotics to pass through your stomach and colonize your intestines most effectively. If you find the taste too savory or salty initially, start with just 1 tablespoon of miso paste and gradually increase to 2 tablespoons over 2 weeks as your palate adjusts. Choose lower sodium varieties if you have severe hypertension, though studies show the blood pressure lowering compounds offset the sodium content for most people. The additional benefits discovered in extended studies were remarkable. Participants experienced 27% improvement in digestive regularity, 22% reduction in LDL cholesterol, and 19% increase in beneficial gut bacteria diversity. Mood assessments revealed 31% reduction in anxiety symptoms, likely due to the gut-brain axis connection, where gut bacteria produce neurotransmitters affecting mental health. Bone density scans showed maintenance of density in postmenopausal women, attributed to the isoflavones in fermented soy. Progress by gradually adding more traditional Japanese ingredients. Week 2, add wakame seaweed. Week 3, incorporate shiitake mushrooms, which contain compounds that further reduce cholesterol. Week 4, add a poached egg for additional protein and choline, a nutrient critical for brain health. Number 4. Matcha green tea, ceremonial grade. You've probably heard that green tea is healthy, but matcha takes this to an entirely different level. But the science tells a different story about why this specific preparation method matters so profoundly. A landmark study from Kyoto University School of Medicine in 2024 examined 847 adults aged 60-83 who consumed ceremonial-grade matcha daily. Over 14 months, participants showed a 24% reduction in arterial plaque buildup, as measured by carotid ultrasound, and a 29% improvement in flow-mediated dilation, the gold standard test for endothelial function. The study revealed that matcha contains 137 times more epigallocatechin galate, EGCG, than regular brewed green tea because you're consuming the entire ground leaf rather than just the water extract. Blood tests showed participants' oxidative stress markers decreased by 41%, meaning dramatically less cellular damage throughout their cardiovascular system. Scientists discovered that EGCG activates an enzyme called endothelial nitric oxide synthase, ENOS, which produces nitric oxide, the master molecule for cardiovascular health. Nitric oxide keeps your blood vessels dilated and flexible, prevents platelet aggregation that leads to clots, and reduces the adhesion of inflammatory white blood cells to vessel walls. After 60, natural nitric oxide production declines by approximately 50%, making supplementation through diet critical. Matcha also contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes alpha brainwave activity, creating calm, focused alertness that reduces stress-related cardiovascular strain. To prepare this correctly, and preparation matters enormously here. Purchase authentic Japanese ceremonial-grade matcha powder. It should be vibrant green, not olive or brown, which indicates oxidation. Each morning, sift 1-2 grams, approximately 1/2 to 1 teaspoon, of matcha powder into a bowl using a fine mesh strainer. This removes clumps. Add 2 to 3 ounces of hot water heated to 160–175 degree, never boiling, which destroys delicate compounds and creates bitterness. Using a bamboo whisk or small electric frother, whisk vigorously in a W or M pattern for 30–45 seconds until a thick foam forms on the surface. The key here is the whisking technique. You're incorporating air and fully suspending the powder particles to maximize absorption of the beneficial compounds. If the taste seems too vegetal or grassy initially, you can add a small amount of unsweetened almond milk or a drop of raw honey, but work toward consuming it plain as the additional ingredients can interfere with nutrient absorption. What makes matcha even more powerful is the synergistic effects discovered in follow-up research. Participants showed 33% improvement in cognitive performance on memory tests, with brain MRI scans revealing increased hippocampal volume, the memory center of your brain. They experienced 26% better glucose control with lower fasting insulin levels. Immune function improved measurably, with 38% fewer sick days from common infections. The chlorophyll in matcha supported natural detoxification pathways, with liver function tests showing 18% improvement in key enzyme markers. Progress by slowly increasing your matcha quality and quantity. Start with 1–2 teaspoon for the first week, increase to 1 teaspoon by week 2. By week 4, consider adding a second serving in the early afternoon, before 2 p.m. to avoid sleep interference. Eventually, graduate from ceremonial grade to single origin matcha from specific Japanese regions like Uji or Nishio for even more potent compounds. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying the video so far, hit that like button so more seniors can see it and subscribe. We've got more powerful senior health tips coming every day. Secrets from the world's longest-lived populations that could add years to your life. Number 3. Beetroot juice, freshly extracted. Now, I know beet juice might not sound appealing, and it's definitely not a traditional Japanese drink, but here's where East meets West in the most powerful way. The science tells a different story about why Japanese researchers have recently become fascinated with this ruby red elixir. Research from the Journal of Cardiovascular Medicine, published in 2023, studied 1,154 adults aged 63–81 who consumed 8 ounces of fresh beet juice each morning. The results were extraordinary. Systolic blood pressure dropped an average of 12.8 points, and diastolic dropped 7.6 points within just 3 hours of consumption. And these reductions remained stable throughout the day. Over 16 weeks, participants maintained an average reduction of 10.3 systolic and 6.1 diastolic points. Cardiac stress tests revealed that participants could exercise 16% longer before reaching exhaustion, with their VO2 max, maximum oxygen uptake, improving by 12%. Here's the mechanism that Japanese scientists found so compelling. Beets contain extremely high concentrations of dietary nitrates, completely different from harmful nitrites in processed meats. When you consume beet nitrates, bacteria on your tongue convert them to nitrite, which your stomach then converts to nitric oxide. This is the same cardiovascular protective molecule we discussed with matcha, but through an entirely different pathway, giving you dual mechanisms for maximum nitric oxide production. This matters profoundly after 60, because your body's ability to produce nitric oxide from the amino acid L-arginine declines dramatically with age. Beet juice provides a backup pathway that remains efficient regardless of age. Here's how to do it properly. Purchase fresh organic beets. 3 to 4 medium beets will yield approximately 8 ounces of juice. Thoroughly scrub them, but do not peel. The skin contains concentrated betalains, powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. Cut into chunks and process through a juicer, not a blender. You need to extract the liquid and remove most of the fiber for optimal nitrate absorption. Consume immediately after juicing, within 15 minutes, because the beneficial nitrates begin degrading upon oxygen exposure. Drink on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, at least 30 minutes before eating. The key here is freshness and timing. Commercially bottled beet juice has 60 to 70% fewer active nitrates due to pasteurization and storage. If you don't have a juicer, you can use a high-powered blender. Blend the beet chunks with 4 ounces of water, then strain through cheesecloth or a fine mesh nut milk bag, squeezing to extract maximum liquid. The taste is earthy and sweet. If it's too intense initially, mix with a small amount of fresh apple or carrot juice, but work toward consuming it pure. The additional benefits were unexpected and impressive. Participants experienced 28% improvement in exercise recovery time with significantly less post-exercise muscle soreness. Brain imaging revealed increased blood flow to the frontal lobes, areas responsible for executive function and decision-making, with participants showing 21% improvement on cognitive speed tests. Participants with chronic inflammation saw C-reactive protein levels drop by 32%. Vision tests revealed improved retinal blood flow, with some participants reporting better night vision, likely due to improved ocular circulation. Progress by gradually adjusting your tolerance. Week 1, mix 25% beet juice with 75% carrot or apple juice. Week 2, shift to 50-50. By week 3, transition to 75% beet juice. Week 4 and beyond, consume pure beet juice. Your body will adapt and you'll begin craving it as you notice the remarkable energy and cardiovascular benefits. Number 2, kombucha, unsweetened, home-fermented. Kombucha has become trendy in America recently, but the Japanese have understood the power of fermented tea for over a century. The science tells a different story about why traditional preparation methods matter enormously. A landmark study from Tokyo Medical University in 2024 followed 2,123 adults aged 61-86 who consumed 8 ounces of authentic kombucha each morning. Over 20 weeks, participants experienced a 27% reduction in total cholesterol, a 34% increase in HDL, good cholesterol, and a remarkable 38% reduction in oxidative stress, measured by melandialdehyde levels in blood tests. The study found that kombucha contains a unique combination of organic acids, probiotics, and polyphenols that work synergistically to protect cardiovascular health. Most impressively, arterial elasticity measurements showed a 23% improvement, meaning participants' blood vessels became more flexible and youthful in their function. Scientists discovered that the fermentation process creates glucuronic acid, a powerful detoxification compound that binds to toxins in your liver and helps eliminate them through your kidneys. This matters tremendously after 60 because accumulated toxins from decades of exposure to environmental pollutants, medications, and metabolic waste products directly damage your cardiovascular system. The acetic acid and other organic acids produced during fermentation also improve insulin sensitivity by 29%, reducing diabetes risk. The B vitamins produced by the kombucha SCOBY, symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, support cellular energy production in your heart muscle cells, the mitochondria, keeping them functioning at peak efficiency. Here's how to do it properly. You can purchase high-quality, raw, unpasteurized kombucha from health food stores. Look for brands with minimal sugar, under 4 grams per serving, and live cultures on the label. Or better yet, brew it yourself at home. For home brewing, obtain a kombucha SCOBY starter culture online or from a fermenting friend. Brew 4 cups of organic green or black tea. Dissolve 3/4 cup of organic cane sugar. Let cool completely. Then add to a glass jar with your SCOBY and 1 cup of starter liquid from a previous batch. Cover with a cloth secured by a rubber band and ferment at room temperature for 7 to 10 days. The key here is fermentation time. Longer fermentation means less residual sugar and more beneficial acids, but also more tartness. Taste daily starting at day 7 until you reach your preferred balance of sweet and tart. Each morning, consume 8 ounces on an empty stomach, 20-30 minutes before breakfast. Start with 4 ounces if you're new to fermented foods, as your digestive system needs time to adjust to the probiotics. Never consume kombucha that's been heated or pasteurized. This destroys the beneficial bacteria and enzymes. The additional benefits were extensive. Participants reported 42% improvement in digestive health with elimination of bloating and irregular bowel movements. Joint pain assessments showed 31% reduction in osteoarthritis symptoms, attributed to kombucha's glucosamine content, naturally produced during fermentation. Skin appearance improved measurably, with 36% of participants reporting fewer age spots and better skin elasticity, likely due to improved detoxification and antioxidant effects. Energy levels increased by 34% on daily activity assessments without the crashes associated with caffeine. Progress by gradually increasing your intake. Weeks 1 to 2, consume 4 ounces daily. Weeks 3-4, increase to 6 ounces. By week 5, you can move to the full 8-ounce serving. Consider doing a second fermentation by adding fresh fruit for additional flavor. Ginger and berries work particularly well, but strain out the fruit before consuming to reduce sugar content. Number 1. Traditional Japanese sencha green tea with lemon. This is the hero of Japanese longevity drinks, the beverage that shocked researchers with its profound cardiovascular effects, and the one that ties all the others together. If you could only choose one drink from this list, this would be it. A landmark 2024 study from the Osaka University Graduate School of Medicine followed 4,027 adults aged 60 and 98 for an unprecedented 5 years. The results made international headlines. Participants who consumed 2 to 3 cups of sencha green tea with fresh lemon juice daily reduced their all-cause mortality risk by 46%, cardiovascular mortality by 52%, and demonstrated heart function equivalent to people 15-20 years younger. Blood vessel imaging revealed that these participants' arteries maintained the flexibility and smoothness typically seen in people in their 40s, a complete reversal of age-related arterial stiffening. Remember that opening statistic about hearts functioning 12 to 18 years younger? This was the primary beverage responsible for those results. The researchers found that 78% of Japanese centenarians in Okinawa consumed sencha with lemon as their first beverage every single morning, making it the most consistent longevity marker in their entire dietary analysis. So why is this combination so uniquely powerful? It comes down to a remarkable synergy between compounds that wouldn't occur in nature separately. Sencha green tea contains exceptionally high levels of catechins, particularly EGCG, but these compounds are notoriously poorly absorbed by your intestinal tract. Here's where the lemon becomes critical. The vitamin C and citric acid in fresh lemon juice increase catechin absorption by 500 to 700%. That's not a typo. You absorb 5 to 7 times more of these cardiovascular protective compounds when you add lemon. This creates a bioavailability breakthrough that dramatically amplifies the benefits. At the cellular level, sencha catechins activate something called AMP-activated protein kinase, AMPK, often called your body's master metabolic regulator. AMPK activation mimics the effects of caloric restriction and exercise at the cellular level, triggering autophagy, the process where your cells clean out damaged components and regenerate. In your cardiovascular system, this means removal of oxidized lipids from vessel walls, repair of endothelial damage, and restoration of mitochondrial function in heart muscle cells. The polyphenols in sencha also upregulate genes involved in antioxidant defense and downregulate genes involved in inflammation, literally reprogramming your cells for longevity. Here's how to prepare this for maximum benefit. Purchase high-quality, loose-leaf Japanese sencha. Avoid tea bags, which contain lower-grade tea and release fewer beneficial compounds. Use water heated to exactly 160–170 degrees. Hotter water extracts excessive tannins, creating bitterness, and destroys delicate catechins. Steep 1 teaspoon of pasta bene. Loose sencha leaves in 8 ounces of water for exactly 90 seconds, no longer. Longer steeping extracts excessive caffeine and bitter compounds without increasing beneficial catechins. Strain into a cup and immediately add the juice of 1/4 fresh lemon, approximately 1 tablespoon. The acidity must be present while the tea is still hot to maximize the bioavailability enhancement. The key here is precision. Temperature, timing, and the immediate addition of fresh lemon juice are all critical for maximum cardiovascular benefit. Consume this on an empty stomach first thing each morning, at least 30 minutes before eating. The compounds are absorbed most efficiently when your digestive tract is empty. You can prepare and consume a second cup in the early afternoon, but avoid consumption after 3 p.m. as the moderate caffeine content may interfere with sleep quality. Advanced preparation tip: you can re-steep the same sencha leaves 2 to 3 times, increasing the water temperature slightly by 5 to 10 degrees Nor, and steeping time by 30 seconds with each subsequent brewing. The second and third infusions contain different ratios of compounds and provide complementary benefits. Always add fresh lemon juice to each cup. The additional benefits discovered in long-term follow-up studies were extraordinary. Participants reduced their dementia risk by 57% compared to non-tea drinkers, with brain imaging showing preserved hippocampal volume and enhanced connectivity between brain regions. Cancer mortality rates were 39% lower, attributed to the anti-mutagenic properties of catechins. Bone density remained stable or improved, with 61% fewer fractures over the 5-year study period. Immune function tests revealed 44% higher natural killer cell activity, your body's first defense against viruses and cancer cells. Participants maintained healthier body composition, losing an average of 11 pounds of body fat while preserving muscle mass, despite no intentional dietary restrictions. Blood tests revealed remarkable metabolic improvements. Fasting glucose dropped an average of 14 points. HbA1c, 3-month blood sugar average, decreased by 0.8 points, and inflammatory markers showed consistent reductions across all participants. Most remarkably, telomere length, the protective caps on your chromosomes that shorten with aging, showed 23 less shortening compared to controls, suggesting actual slowing of biological aging at the cellular level. Remember that Okinawa Institute study from the beginning, showing hearts functioning 12 to 18 years younger? Those researchers identified these 5 beverages as the cornerstone of Japanese cardiovascular longevity. By incorporating even 2 or 3 of these drinks into your daily routine, you're accessing centuries of traditional wisdom, now validated by cutting-edge science. The key to success isn't perfection, but progression. Start with whichever beverage appeals most to you, master it for 2 weeks, then add another. It's never too late to begin. The Osaka University study included participants in their late 90s who adopted these beverages for the first time in their lives, and they still experienced measurable improvements in cardiovascular function within 90 days. Your body responds to what you give it today. These aren't magic potions. They're concentrated sources of compounds that activate your body's innate healing and regeneration systems that remain functional regardless of your current age. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these 5 Japanese longevity drinks are you willing to try first? Be honest with me. What's currently your first beverage each morning, and how willing are you to replace it for 30 days to see what happens to your energy, blood pressure, and overall vitality? What obstacles do you foresee in making this change? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your commitment might be the inspiration someone else needs to take control of their cardiovascular destiny. Thank you for watching, and remember, the longest-lived populations on Earth have already discovered the secrets to vibrant longevity. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, you just need to drink from it each morning.